Good morning. This is Tony Dattino. I am the founder and chairman of the USA Memory Championship, and our 24th event is fast approaching now that we've gotten to September and Labor Day and the holidays are over, and we are watching I am watching the hurricane forecasting now, which becomes our challenge as we set the date in September. And looking at one that's out in the Atlantic right now. But beyond that, we look at September 24th as when our U.S. audience can see it. What we've decided to do this year, based on comments that we received from many of the people that watched it on YouTube last year, we decided that we'll do it live on the 23rd of September at Full Sail University, which will be done in Winter Park, Florida. And then we will edit it, so the team will be working at night. Nelson Dellis and Karen Patricia Pinson will work into the evening to get that edited, so we can send out a version of it, an edited version of that in pieces. So we'll have it by the events and the 4 events that we'll be doing, and then we'll have it by guest speakers so that people can tune in to, do they want to hear someone from MIT? Do they want to hear someone from the Memory Championship? Do they want to hear from Lumosity? So we'll have several speakers in between the events, but we'll segment those out so people can watch those on an individual basis as opposed to the whole 3 hours. And then the speakers that come in between the dead spaces, they can just select them and just listen to edited versions or selected versions of our 15-minute speakers that we have. So we're trying to be more efficient for our audience, and we're trying to minimize the 3 or 3.5 hours that they might have to spend to go through from start to finish. And so we're starting it a little bit earlier since it's not going to be live, and we're going to edit it that evening on the 23rd so that you'll be able to see it up and running on the 24th. And it's 24 years of doing this, and it's always something new that we learn and something that we try to promote more for people to be able to observe it and see what these amazing men and women are able to accomplish and what they're able to do in demonstrating the feats of anyone can improve their memory. And anyone with the belief that they could, certainly we have on average brain the ability to do that. It's a matter of learning what the skills are and believing, first of all, believing that you can learn these skills, and then the question, well, what are they? And then what are the ones that work best for me? So how can I find the skills within the inventory, so to speak, that would work best in my life, in my world of the way my brain works? And one of the things that Michael Dattino has learned through his Maximum Memory Mastery online work and the coaching he's done is that everybody's got their own style. Everybody's got their own way of how they look at things and how they learn and process that learning so that it brings a retention and the application of the skill. So as we talk about, first, can you believe? Second of all, would you look at the inventory of systems and mnemonics and memory systems that link, connect, associate, and then would you be willing to learn what those are and take some time to then practice what those are? And what I find over and over again is people, when they start to learn these systems and skills, they want to go from A to Z like in an hour. And again, it's like any new skill we learn. I like people to step back and think about the skills that they've learned in their lives when they went to colleges, in some cases their master's programs, and how they become proficient IT professionals or proficient lawyers or doctors, if we think of God, the time doctors have to spend, and the patience that we have to have as we learn these things. This is no different. We're teaching people new skills, and the Memory Championship allows us to see people who have believed, who have practiced, and have been willing to demonstrate their application of those skills in a competition. And that's really the whole purpose of the competition. Is it's nice to have a competition and you find winners, but the fact is, I always tell people that compete in this, The fact that you participated in the event itself has already separated you out from thousands and thousands of people. And so I always say, when you go to some of these competitions and there's only a handful of 70-year-olds running a marathon, and people say, well, I might have finished 8th or ninth or finished 15th, and there's 25 people in the race. I say, well, where's the other million that didn't sign up? You've beaten all of them in the competition because they chose not to be a part of it. They've chosen not to exercise. They've chosen not to believe that they can make a difference and commit some of their time to it to practice. This is no different than running a marathon race or running a 10K race. This is a race from using your mental facilities. And it doesn't matter to me what your age is, because anyone at any age can learn how to improve. And so when people look at the competition and they see who the 12 finalists are, there usually is some diversity in the mix of males and females and ages. It's always fascinating to say the people that are on the stage that are demonstrating their mental faculties and their abilities, they've already won inside the game of life because they've already came through the process of believing, practicing, competing, and then demonstrating. That's a winner to me. And so you step back and think about it. As I watched football, right? This was a big football weekend. How many people culled through? I was watching a documentary on Netflix, and how many people culled through the process to get to the national championship level? How many people even get to the final championships? And I always think it's a sad state that we go through all of this work to nominate a national champion when the top 4 to top 10 teams that have all competed to get there have already funneled themselves down into a very, very narrow funnel with a very small spigot of what actually comes out, which means they've already won. They've won in the game of life. And so we tend to isolate these things into smaller scales, and we lose the bigger picture. We lose the perspective of the masses, and therefore we kind of beat on ourselves. Oh, God, we didn't win, or we didn't win this race, or I didn't win this competition, or I didn't get this prize. When in fact, in my take, is the fact that the men and women that compete as mental athletes in the U.S. Memory Championship have already demonstrated their own ability to learn some skills that can make a difference in their whole life. So when we think about this, they start with a game from Lumos Labs, and they start to play this game, and that helps them seed where they sit. And there is a strategy from the 12 people that will be there as to where they sit. And then we give them a word list, and then we take them through the word list, and we put them through long-term memory questions and events, and we flip that to a Tea Party guest, and then we close out with the 2 decks of cards. So they compete in 4 different events that basically test diversity of skills: remembering names, remembering numbers, remembering lists, remembering people's information about themselves. So the events are designed to demonstrate a broad range of memory skills, including long-term memory. So they've been given in the long-term memory events. They've now had the events out a month. They'll be a month by the time they get to September 23rd. And they will have the opportunity to have studied those, and we'll put questions in front of them to test their comprehension. Then we'll have Tea Party people. They'll meet people, and they'll see information about them. They'll have some notes they'll be able to make, and off they go with the Tea Party. So it's designed to demonstrate a diversity of short and long-term memory skills, so that people can look at it and say, wow, I might want to learn that. I might want to learn how to remember people's names and faces. I might want to use the long-term memory event to study for my school exams or professional accreditations or policies of some sort that I need to remember in my position at work as a professional. And so we are off and going. We're putting the final touches to everything. And the best news of all is I got a call from my Seahorse trophy maker yesterday and said the trophy is made. We're closing up our kills for the next month as we clean up, but yours will be out in the mail tomorrow, and you'll have your trophy delivered to Florida in the next few days. So the pieces are coming together, and we're excited about it, and hopefully we'll see you watching it on the 24th of September on YouTube under the USA Memory Championship.